opinions of the network as a whole. The statements in the following broadcast are not necessarily the opinions of the Madness Comic Network, its staff, sponsors, or contributors. This show is rated TVMA, as are all of them and all those other letters. Viewer discretion is highly advised. And, just do what Doc says. Read that again. Peace, everybody.
Flip City Magazine is just really pulling out all the stops, man. Your guys' production value of this magazine has gone insane. I mean, look at that. I mean, I remember when you guys, it was black and white. Even when it was black and white, I thought your quality was great. But damn, they just really stepping it up a notch. Look at this. James Corbett, boys. James Corbett.
Genuinely cutting, but also funny, and obviously just chaotic and very fun.
I love Flip City. It has brought new types of badassery and integrity to the print medium.
Madness Comic Network and comic-related madness proudly presents Madness Tuesday Morning Brew. Tune in to our content on Comic Talk with Pops Van Zandt on YouTube.
Oh, good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Hopefully you all survived the apocalypse. Yeah. It's fine. The apocalypse can't start anyway. I knew it wasn't going to start. You know why? Because the apocalypse starts on March 5th for in Path. That's when it starts. March 5th. So anyway, it was really exciting though. Here in Texas, we got to see like the whole total eclipse. What do they call it? Totality. It was pretty weird. It got really dark. My dog was really confused for a short time, but then after that, things went back to normal. It was good. The kids thought it was great. Nobody burned their retinas except for Sam Vera, who accidentally was staring at the sun, not realizing that his phone wasn't in front of him. Sorry, Sam. Good morning, Hugo. How are you? And then other than that, like we made some hot sauce yesterday. I got 2 new flavors. I don't know if you saw my post yesterday, but we have a jalapeno serrano sauce and we have a mango habanero. That is hot, man. I actually took out some of the peppers. It said 5 habaneros a batch and I moved it down to 3 because it was so hot I couldn't eat it. So, and I want to eat it. Good morning, nerds. Haha, it's funny. News and Path of Pale Rider. We are ordering the books today. The Kickstarter funds have arrived. So I'm going to be ordering the big batch of trade paperbacks today. I'm very excited. I'll be working with Hades at ASAP Imagination to get those ordered. And then we should be getting them pretty quick. Everything has pretty much been ordered. I think I have to order some stickers and that's it. Like most of the stuff is in, the tattoos are in, the plushies are in, the pins are in, the poker cards are in, everything's pretty much in. I've already ordered all the t-shirts. So those, she's already working on them. She sent me a picture that she got all the iron-on stuff and it's ready. So yeah. You were doing what? I tried going into the dang it, Laurie, I want the hot stuff. No. I mean, at some point, I think I will make a just kill you sauce. Just kill me already. But I will see. The peppers are always so much better in the summertime. Like even the jalapenos and serranos that I got, they had like no heat at all. It's like it's what happens. Zombies need the real heat. I see. Okay. Well, all right. You asked for it. We'll do it. We'll make some insanity sauce. Anyway, so I'm really excited about the books getting ordered. And then once we finish ordering those books, we are going to open up the polls for the next Slice and Dice. So we'll get that rolling. We're going to be murdering a pineapple on the Tuesday morning brew. We're going to light it on fire and then smash it or slice it with the weapon of your choice. And you guys get to name this ill-fated fruit. So I'm excited. We haven't murdered a pineapple just yet, but yeah. I'm going to bring in our guest. Our guest is, of course, returning. Hey, good morning, Laurie Glenn. Good morning, Glenn. Our guest is returning guest, Jeofrey Cotton, very talented. And he has so many books that he has touched in lots of different genres and has the coolest job on the planet. And he's here to hang out and talk just nerdy with us. And we're going to go over some of the stuff that he has and that he's going to be doing. He's going to tease us because I think he has a secret he can't share yet. And then we're going to watch the short film. A Day in the Life premiered yesterday. It's live on the YouTubes, and we're going to give it a watch. And I'd love to hear what you think about the Hershey syrup, and then stick around for the zombie parade at the end. So, Jeofrey, good morning. How are you?
What's up, everybody? I'm good. I can't complain. I did, though. You know, I'm in Texas as well, but I'm here down in Houston, and we had some cloud cover, so we didn't get to see the eclipse in its entirety, its totality, or whatever. So, at the tail end of it, though, we could put the glasses on and see that very end of it. So that was cool. But yeah, we didn't get to experience it like you guys might have. So that kind of
was
sucks, but whatever.
Cloudy off and on while it was starting. But when it got to totality, it cleared up. So we got lucky. We got to see like it was covered. But that was it. Like that was.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, but I mean, like I was wondering if we were gonna be able to see it. I had friends that were gonna fly in, and they were trying to fly standby and weren't able to come. And there were so many people that came into town. I don't know about you, but it was busy around here, and like people on the side of the road and just idiots. Like, get off the road.
Yeah, I guess is that because of the fact that like that it entered from Texas and stuff. Is that why that more people were coming out here? Do you think?
Yeah, of course, because it wasn't a total eclipse in different parts of the country. It's like you could see it and it would only cover like 30% or 50%. It didn't go directly in front and block the sun. It would go like on the bottom half. You know what I mean? So it didn't do it all the way. So they were they were in Oregon and they were trying to fly in and couldn't make it. They were bummed. So I was sending them pictures, but there's a good chance. I would have felt terrible if they flew in from Oregon and then it was just clouds.
That'd be brutal.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably a bad idea.
My vote for your pineapple's name is I got to vote for my vote for your pineapple name should be Rasputin because it sounds like you're just putting him through the ringer.
Oh man. The fans always come up with the best names.
You know the story of Rasputin, right?
Of course. He was shot, hung, disemboweled, quartered, drowned. Like they did everything they could to this man. And he was still kicking at the end. Like, what the heck? Black magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be funny.
Yes.
But I always pick a name. I always pick like a few names and then I let people add whatever name they want to. And then people just vote on, what's there. I let it go for a couple of weeks. Hey, what's up, Mr. Cotton? Says Paul Stokes, of course. John Westhoff.
What's up, fellas? Paul, John. I see you guys. How you doing?
Can you imagine? Someone's just like, oh, look at that. It's probably a bad idea, Hugo. I'm just saying. So even in his last hour, Rasputin was being called about his extent.
I have to say this one thing because I'm old enough to remember when here's a piece of cardboard and a pin. Poke a hole in it and go ahead and look.
I don't think that's how it works. I think you're supposed to poke a hole and it goes through the pinhole and onto the ground and you look at the reflection.
That's not how they taught us in school. I know that. It was like, we go ahead and poke a hole in it and look at it.
Pretty sure that's not safe.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It's like that's how it was when I was a kid. It was like they didn't give us glasses. They gave us a piece of cardboard.
Yeah.
They're like, just like, put your hand and just very little bit, open your fingers, and then you'll be fine.
That's how it was. It was like, here's a piece of cardboard, poke a hole in it, and go ahead and look. That's how it was. So I see the kids yesterday, all four of them, they got glasses. They're all looking at it, I take the glasses and I look up, and for us, it was just a very small splinter of the sun you could still see. So it was still light out, right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't a very big splinter of the sun. I was explaining to the kids, that's how bright the sun is. Like, most of it's blocked out.
Yeah, you needed the glasses to really see the whole thing. Because I was trying to I didn't have glasses and I was just trying to take pictures, but the sun is so bright. Like we couldn't see any of the eclipse until it was like getting dark and then totality. Then you could see what was going on. But like when it was partly over, if you didn't have the glasses, you couldn't see it.
Yeah, you see, even Lou, pinhole in a shoebox,
cardboard
plus safety squints equals science. That's science. Yeah, it's nice to meet you. I'm gonna let you get back to the show. I couldn't believe people were.
It's just out. Current events. We have to talk about it. And then of course, did you get hit with that storm last night, Jeff? Did you guys get a storm?
A little bit. It wasn't as bad, but it was a little bit.
Oh, God. We got pummeled. With another storm. Rain. We didn't have last time we had golf ball size hail. This time the hail wasn't as bad, but it was just like thunder and lightning all night. What is it about Texas where
I saw some pictures you posted.
The hail?
Yeah, I saw the pictures of the hail. That was nasty.
Yeah. Anybody whose car was outside, it was damaged.
Oh yeah, we love that.
And then of course we had roofers going through the sub at for 3 weeks trying to.
Anyway, it's nice meeting you, Jeff. I'm gonna get out of here, let you do your show. Have fun.
You too, Bob. I'll see you later, man. Yep, thanks, man.
So how have you been besides busy?
Good, man. Yeah, swamped. I'm working full time, here from home, and it's nice being at home, but it's very demanding still too. So I'm just trying to get to a place where I can kind of chill for a second. It's how it is. It's just foot on the gas, all the time when you're doing this. I'm hustling and grinding with this kind of stuff here. So it's fun. It's rewarding, but it's also demanding. So I'm a little tired, but I'm also excited and hopeful, and things are moving in the right direction. You know what I mean? So I've still got some stuff to clean up on the back end for what I'm trying to accomplish. But as soon as that stuff's done, I can kind of move full steam ahead. And so I'm really looking forward to that, and to the summer and the end of the year and beyond. So
well, tell everybody what you do, because you're the only person I know that does.
Yeah. So So for starters, I buy and resell comic books. I buy collections and trade them with people and do all that stuff. I kind of got into the community by doing that right before COVID. And I was working at a comic shop and sort of reinvigorated. Got my passion back for comic books and collecting, and got into Dungeons and Dragons and all sorts of cool nerdy stuff that I really like. And so when I started doing that, then as I started selling books and meeting more and more people, I kind of got, wanted to expand a little bit. And so I started pressing comic books and cleaning them and working on them and repairing them, and then submitting them to CGC for people, and just building out that network, and then over time that turned into me linking up with a buddy and say, hey, you want to make a comic book? And, I said, yeah, let's give it a shot. What the hell? And so we tried it, and that was about 2.5 years ago. And since then, it's just been kind of full speed ahead, and I've had some missteps here and there because I've tried to do so much, my ambition kind of outweighs my ability sometimes. But nevertheless, though, it's all been kind of corralled, and here we are now, poised to move forward and keep progressing and hopefully excelling, and just offering opportunities and information and help and whatever I can do. I just want to kind of, I'm always wanting to serve first before I get served. And so that's why I like, you're cut from the same cloth in that way. And, I think it's real helpful in the community to do that as a whole, and it's important that we help each other out and share it in this whole experience together,
Well, and I just want to show
people. I've got a couple. I got, as far as stuff that's like coming out soon. We just had a. Go ahead. You okay?
No, you were. It was like glitching for a second. Go ahead.
Okay. So, and I was going to say, as far as projects coming out, though, there's, let's see, Cosa Nostra's Comrade just funded on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
That one's a little different from what synonymous. My name be synonymous with horror in particular. I want to kind of just fine tune that, and anything that I endeavor to do and write and create, develop or whatever. Personally, I want it to be known with horror. I'm kind of like a Clive Barker, or John Carpenter. Kind of those names are just that they're horror guys. And so that's what I want to do for that. And but aside from that, though, I also want to help people develop and bring to print their projects. And I've done that in the past with books like Birds of a Feather and the Legionnaire Files and stuff like that. And the first one that I did was Razor Wire McGuire for my buddy Stephen Rios. Shout out Stephen. He wanted to do this book, and he had it completed, but didn't really have a way to get it. He didn't really know what to do beyond that. So I helped him develop it and build out the Kickstarter page, and we got it funded, and it looks fantastic. It's like to date, it's probably the nicest looking book that I've brought to print so far, just in terms of overall quality and presentation and everything. So I'm really proud that we were able to do that for him. And then after that, I went in and did Cosa Nostra's Comrade, which was a little less developed. It didn't have any artwork or anything like that. It was just more of an idea. You know what I mean? And Jacob Ruxer, he's my buddy that I'm working on this one with. It was his idea and his story, and I've just kind of come in and helped him develop it and kind of fine tune it and put together the Kickstarter page. And pulled out all the stops for that. I put a lot of time into making that page as cool and awesome and appealing as I could. And man, it's a lot of work, I'm sure, as you can attest to.
Oh yeah.
Doing all the videos and Tom Cuthbert. Yeah, Tom Cuthbert, he did all the artwork. It's great. It's going to be awesome. So we're really excited about this one. It's not a horror book though. It's got some darker tones. It's for grownups for sure.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, it's about a Russian special forces guy that kind of defects. He kind of comes to the United States in the early 80s, and just by way of just living his life, he stumbles across this opportunity to work for the mafia, and he takes full advantage of it. And then we just kind of show what's going to happen from there. It's a lot of fun. I'm excited to see where it can go and what we can do with it. So that's one thing that's going on. And then besides that, the next thing I'm getting ready to do is my sequel, the follow-up of Roseville, which is my absolute favorite thing. Like I call that my baby, so yeah, that one's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to kind of branch out into what you're doing with your short films and live action stuff. I'm going to try to put together like a mock-up, like a proof of concept sort of live action trailer for it. So that'll be a lot of fun. And
nice.
And there's some other things I'm going to try. There's some other things I'm going to try to do with this one that I haven't done yet before with any other projects. And so I'm really hoping that this one can give me a good boost, and really show the backer support and that people are committed and wanting to be there. And because, like I said, I've had some missteps. I'm sure I've lost some people along the way. I've got another book that's going to be printing next that's been on hold for over a year now. There was all sorts of disasters and pitfalls and crap that happened over time. But yeah, so people pre-ordered this book. I didn't really go through Kickstarter. And so I dealt with my own little network. And so a lot of people that were supporting me and stuff, they're probably curious or if I've forgotten or whatever the hell. And so I want to make sure that I get that all right and correct before I move over to the next the second issue of Roseville. So
I feel
that's coming. It's called End of Man, and it's my sci-fi book. It's got some horror elements into it, but it's kind of like a sci-fi, more of a sci-fi project too. So
yeah, we talked about this one too last time.
Looking at all this stuff on your screen, it's crazy to sit back and look at. Yeah,
you do so much.
Next. I'll be printing that one next. I'm in the process of lettering it right now. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
This is what I was like.
There's just so much going on. Yeah. I got to kind of. I'm hoping that by the time. Right. So this one, it'll be fun. I'm excited. It's supposed to be 3 issues, so we'll see how that goes. I want to see how people receive it, and like I said, the fact that it's been delayed for so long, I'm sure has maybe rubbed a few people the wrong way. I've only had to refund a couple of people though, so that's been nice. Everybody for the most part has been really patient and understanding, and when the time is right, here very soon, it'll get printed, and I'm going to make sure that everybody that pre-ordered it and that has been here and supportive and still is, that they're rewarded for that. I'll do something extra somehow, some way. I'll figure it out. But I'm going to make sure that everybody gets taken care of and gets that book, and then we'll move on into some more horror stuff. Prepare the summer to fall.
Amazing. How do you keep all your stories straight, Jeff? Because it's like you have sci-fi, you have horror. You're helping everybody with their own stories. Like, how do you have a notebook? You have all these ideas and you just rotate through them, or what's your schedule look like when you're creating all of these things?
No, you know what? It's very much off the cuff, kind of improvised, freestyled, whatever you want to use in there. A lot of it's just kind of I get the idea in my head, and then I kind of start to when I'm doing the storyboards is when I tell myself, I like to say that's when I actually write the book. Because when I do the storyboards, I've got it all figured out and mapped out in my head. And then I give that to my buddy, Tom, the artist that helps me out with a lot of the stuff. And he takes it and just kind of makes it and puts his own little twist on it and then relays it to me. And I'm like, okay, cool. If there's anything that's a little off, like that, maybe I wasn't expecting, or maybe that he took a creative liberty and kind of altered a little bit from what I had in mind, then it's cool. We just I kind of flow with that. Unless it's something that's not going to work at all, then we don't have to really change anything. But typically I'll just take his stuff, and then when the time comes and it's ready to letter, and it's ready to write it, then I just go in there and I letter it all kind of right then and there. And that requires a lot of changing and a lot of back and forth. But it's the way I'm most comfortable right now. I don't really ever write out like a screenplay or a script or any kind of anything on paper. It's just all kind of in my head. And I used to do hip hop music for a while as a rapper for quite a while, and had a lot of fun with that. And but I think that might have helped me a little bit, along with D&D, with how I world build and do stuff as a dungeon master, and playing the game and stuff. I think that's also helped me to learn how to tell stories a little better, and how to pace them, and how to really kind of break it down and expand them. I'm sure you can vouch for that. But yeah, it's a Timothy Fling, shout out, man, Earth Dog Studios. I did an interview with him last week, and I was telling him about how my method, you know, has very unorthodox, and he was agreeable to that. He said he said very different. So he said, you know, I'd be surprised if anybody else does it like that, so to speak, or maybe kind of like it. But it's just it's how I enjoy doing it. You know, it's how I've gotten comfortable with it, like I said. So I'm going to stick with that for now.
That's awesome. This is for Brett. I know we kind of went through this, but Brett Giuliano is big into mafia history, mafia fiction. I got a poker deck, which is really cool. It's Mobbables, where the poker cards are animals, but based off of like the nicknames for like the mobsters, which is really cool. So this is right up your alley, dude. It just closed though, so darn it, we missed
something I want to.
Go ahead,
yeah,
Jeff.
It's okay. I'll have some. It's still a little bit off. It's only like I think about 50% completed. It will be here by the weekend. But then he's moving on through those pages, and as soon as he gets them to us, we'll get them lettered, and then we'll get it printed. And we've got some neat little merchandise for this one too. Jacob pulled out all the stops and he did a Nintendo 64 replica game box, and
what?
Yeah, and then he also did an enamel pin that says you know. Hang on 1 second. I've got him in the closet. 1 second.
I was like, I didn't scroll down far enough. Here's the thing: is that Jeff has like, you know, what we counted him 10 different projects. So it's like, look at all the cool stuff he has. I just want to see.
Oh yeah.
Wise guys.
This is an N64
look at
game
these.
box
Look at
right
these.
here. It's really
I love
dope.
how you have. Well, hold on, Jeff. I like how you have like different reward levels that are all like mafia related.
Okay.
I try to do this with my own Kickstarter where I name stuff that's funny or memorable. So it's like the made man, the underboss. That's really smart. I enjoy that. Go ahead. Well, show us your thing. I'll put it up here.
Yeah, thanks. That's a great idea. I looked at some of the guys that are having real successful Kickstarters and funding and kind of what they're doing, and it's just it's catchy, it's fun, it's something that you can kind of cling on to, and like the Full Metal Gangster, for example, you know, it's a play on the Full Metal Alchemist anime, and it's a metal cover that's with it, and it's a cool Metal, and then to play on that, it's a Metal Gear Solid game homage cover, so it's really neat. Kind of that way you can kind of correlate all that together. But here's the this comes with we only got 25 of these. And they're really cool. They're like a Nintendo 64 game box, like a replica. And with my camera, right? But yeah, it's got artwork from the cover stuff, and it kind of gives you everything you need to know in that, and you can do whatever you please with it. It's foldable, and you could kind of store stuff in there if you want. And we're just kind of trying to play around with some ideas. We want to do for the next one, we want to do an actual mailer box. You know, like the little rectangular shaped boxes you can put all your like a bundle, you know what I mean? It kind of comes, it's all inclusive with this neat little box, and you get the bundle, and you get a t-shirt or what, you know, all this other cool stuff in there. So well, you know, just like you can say, just like you would attest to, I'm always trying to find new little fun stuff to kind of incentivize people to get on board and to support the project and give them a lot as much bang for their buck as possible, you know. And without just having to charge, you know, $15 or $20 for a comic book, they could get one at the other store for $4 or $5. You know, it's asking a lot, you know, but that's how it has to be for now. And but at the end of the day, though, hopefully I can give them some cool stuff. Like this is a really neat enamel pin that we got. They're metal kind of finish on it with some gloss, and they're really cool. And then there's some other stuff too that we did, some stickers and, you know, some more traditional kind of things. But nevertheless, though, yeah, that one's immediately up front and center right now. And you said, what was the gentleman's name that was asking about the
Brett
stuff?
Giuliano. He said he just followed you on Kickstarter as well.
Yeah, Brett, cool. Yeah, thanks, Brett. Shout out, man. I appreciate it. So yeah, there's a flyer there that you're looking at right there on the screen, which I made from scratch, and it's kind of supposed to be like a piece of meta merch, or whatever you want to call it. Like it actually is a place that in the beginning of the book, you'll see Andre, and there'll be an encounter in a situation at Cipriani's Italian Cafe. So it's kind of like taking you into and out of the story in the same sense. Yeah, I found that guy.
The cup of coffee is drinking a cup of coffee.
Yeah, he's a cannibal, I guess, or what, a coffeeable. But I found I have a little bit of a background in graphic design. Like I love doing graphic design. Like even I would dare say even more than writing. Like I really like graphics and video and stuff. And it's just something I'm very passionate about. But I don't have any professional experience. It's all been kind of freelance, and I learned how to use Photoshop a long time ago in high school. And I've recently, though, because of the comic books and stuff, I've been kind of forced to do it again so that I can learn how to letter and do graphics, and it's paid off in a major way. And recently, though, I've got some subscription stuff where I can use stock footage and stock video and textures and all this really neat stuff to kind of take my graphics and my design stuff to another level. So I'd like to think that that's where we're moving upward. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and I think we've got some really cool stuff, and that's just one of the projects that I've got going on. So hopefully everybody will tune in and stay in touch and up to date with what I got going on.
Jeff, does this phone number actually work? I'm just curious.
No, it doesn't. I don't. Well, if you call it, I can't say who will or won't answer that phone. But it is. The cool thing is, it is an actual area code for Brooklyn.
Oh, okay.
So is the address, the same zip code. Yeah.
Someone's Nona is very confused.
Hopefully it's not somebody's phone number. I want to say that I called it.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I want to say I called it and nobody answered, but I can't remember for sure.
Okay. My last riddle, and when you solve it, if you do it correctly, there's a phone number, and if you call it, it calls something for Path of the Pale Rider.
That's cool.
So I took mine a step forward. I took mine a step further, where it's like when you unlock the phone number and you call it, it's a message. It's not a person, but someone picks up and you listen to something, and it's meta, like in Path of the Pale Rider.
That's awesome. Yeah, because the guy that runs that cafe, I'd be great if I could do. I like to do voice impersonations as much as I can. Sometimes sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But I would love to do like Enzo Cipriani, like answering the phone, and thank people for calling them or whatever. Yeah, that'd be cool. That's a good idea.
Awesome. Here's the pin, guys, too, in case you missed it.
Yeah.
Nice.
And there's some stickers there. We had a hashtag for hashtag gun or cannoli. Because for those of you that aren't aware, like in The Godfather, there's an iconic moment where they're kind of, I have the opportunity to walk away or to stay in the game. And kind of the gun represents staying in the game, and the cannoli represents, something sweeter in life. And Michael, I believe, Al Pacino's character, I believe he's the one that's put in that position where he has to make that choice, I think. I can't remember though, but we wanted to pay as much homage and respect and tribute to all of the old gangster movies that come and gone, and those stories and people that have been a part of that. And there's some cool little tips of the hat to various stories and movies and things that have come before us. And so hopefully people will pick up on that. People that are big mafia buffs and stuff like that, they'll maybe see that. And the dialogue is something that I really wanted to kind of focus on with this one. Because when those mobsters are talking, man, they're just talking so fast and so slick. Sometimes you'll miss what they're saying, or it's just real funny. It's real blunt, but real funny, and just very different from the traditional conversations people might have. And so aside from wanting to do that and put some emphasis on some of that cool mafia slang, I also wanted to explore having a barrier to create comic relief with a barrier between the Russian main protagonist and the Italian guys that he's working with. All of them of which are in a modern day or in a 1980s America in New York. Yeah. So there's a whole lot of culture shock and differences of opinion and ideas and stuff that we can kind of explore, like when they're having their conversations and like the misunderstanding and how they can kind of be funny and lead into something else or whatever. So
that's funny. There's just little tidbits that make a story like more believable. You know what I mean? Like lived in. Because it's not just all plot. It's like this little moment where it's like where language could be misinterpreted and it turns into something funny.
Right.
Tom Cuthbert is Abraham Lincoln.
No, there's a running joke about he's got a thing with he puts Abraham Lincoln in all of our books, and he'll like put him on like a picture on the wall or whatever. And I guess he's got, I don't know if people say that he looks like him or I think he told me his favorite president. Which is that's an odd thing in and of itself to say, because I could care less about
right. As an adult.
Yeah, I'm not a big my favorite this or anything, let alone a president. Like, but to each his own. That's fine. Well, but I think he was just joking with me, giving me an excuse for why he does it. I feel a feeling it's more along the lines of maybe people used to say he looked like him in the past or something, because he does faintly resemble him. And but nevertheless, Tom has Tom is an admiral. He admires President Lincoln, and so I couldn't find any really good pictures for him on Facebook. He's a tattoo artist, and he shows off all of his tattoos more so than himself. And so I landed on that one just as a kind of a joke, and he liked it, and so we were going to keep it that way. So
I just was cracking up. I was like, "Oh, cool! They did that like paper effect. It makes it look like old, like
cool
mafia,
texture.
like whatchamacallit, jail cell, like what am I trying to say? Mugshot. There we go. And then I was like, and then Abraham Lincoln.
Like, right. There's
one
good
of
old
these
honest Abe in
things
there.
is not like the other.
And then Nathan Lawson also came in and helped us out with a cover. He did the Metal Gear Solid homage. Cool. And I first met him with Razor Wire McGuire. We needed an extra cover to come in and kind of really beef up the appeal. And so we had him come in, and he's a friend of Jordan Dorenzo, who worked on Razor Wire McGuire. And I got to meet Nathan, and Nathan's a great guy, and I'm looking forward to working with him in the future as well. And he did a great job on this one, put it together real quick. Any kind of changes I needed to make on the fly, he was there. And just real solid dude. So I'm looking forward to working with him in the future as well. Shout out, Nathan.
Yeah. Super cool. How many stories do you write per year? Apex would like to know.
Ooh, let's see. Well, it's been 2.5 years. So if I had to kind of get an average, I would say, when I first started, me and Tom got tasked with this opportunity to work for a video game company that was doing a crypto coin. It's kind of confusing. We didn't really know what exactly they wanted to do, but they had us come in and do some short stories. So we did 3 of those. And then they kind of, crypto kind of got weird, and they just kind of fizzled out. And they were a lot of fun though. They're like vampire hunter stories. And set all throughout history, different time periods, all the way from like the Wild West with werewolves, all the way up to the future, like Blade in the dystopian future type of deal. So they were really fun, and we got some good experience early on. And then I kind of moved into other stuff, and some of those books and stories have other issues, and they've kind of come and gone, but I'd say if I had to guess, per year, maybe 6 or so. But I'm going to dial that back big time. Like I'm about to just focus on one thing at a time and make that one thing as good as it can possibly be. I wish I would have done that in retro, and hindsight's 2020. I wish I would have done that to start, because then I'd be a little further along with one thing and have that fan base and that community very strong and tight knit, like you guys have with like Corissa has with Worthy Chaos, and like you have with Path of the Pale Rider. And but I didn't, I'm always trying to, like, my brain's always firing like all over the place, and so I've got to create, make, and I'm just always wanting to do something. But I know now what the better option there for how to be successful with this comic book stuff is to kind of just pump the brakes and focus on one thing and do it the best you possibly can. So, but yeah, I've got by the end of the summer, I'll have five running titles, and I've also done probably another 3 or 4 stories. So maybe like 9 or 10 total in the last 2.5 years. And then, but it's again, I wish I would have, in retrospect, I'd like to have trimmed that down just a little bit. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know if people understand quite how difficult that is, because not only are you writing the stories you're producing, you have different artists involved, and you have all these different campaigns that you're running for different things. I don't know how you keep it all straight. So when I hear you saying like, that was too much, I might need to take I completely understand. Because I do my own, of course, with Path. And then I write sometimes for like William Russell, and I wrote part of the Big Dog Inc. anthology. That was the first time I had written for Tom Hutchinson. And it's hard to write in someone else's story, and then, and still manage my own stuff, and still, prepare for shows and go visit comic book, stores, and build relationships and work on your website and work on PR, scheduled podcast. You know what I mean? Like, it is so much stuff. And then on top of that, to have your job that you do, you're incredible how much time you spend doing amazing things. So kudos to you, man, and all your successes. I don't know if anybody looked at this, because there's 10 created here. Did you notice that every single one is funded?
Well, thanks, I appreciate it.
That's amazing.
At the end of the day, I just want to at the end of the day, I just want to be able to be visible and to know that that we're moving in the right direction and making a difference in one way or the other. The stories don't have to be life changing, but I would love that people enjoy them and appreciate them. And horror is something that I've always kind of gravitated towards. And you can kind of let loose a little bit with the horror and kind of drop. You can drop your guard and you kind of just have fun with it and you can do that in a way that you can't really do with other genres, in my opinion. And I've always been one for over the top violence and gore and blood. And but I like the stories though, are what it's all based around. And so it's important that there's always some kind of good story there at the core of it all, And even with like Awful Thoughts is the first thing I ever did. It's a horror anthology, and it's just got a bunch of little weird, disturbing, strange short stories. And so it's not for everybody, but for the people that do enjoy that sort of stuff, there's a cool little story at the base of all of them, and it's got a gut punch at the end. And the little stories around them, they're so much fun. And I'm hoping that if Roseville 2 is successful, then we'll move into a volume 2 of Awful Thoughts after that, I believe. And because there are a lot of people, surprisingly, there's a lot of people that were very supportive of this first project.
I love a good anthology. You know what I mean? Where it's like, you don't have to think too hard. It's not like it's an ongoing thing. So you're committing yourself to the next 12 issues, even though, of course, from someone who is writing a 12-issue arc, right? But it's like, you don't have to have the backstory. You can just jump in and it's like, 3, 4, however many stories in one thing. And you go for the fun ride. You get shocked or grossed out and then you put it down and you move on your way. Right.
I found
fabulous. I enjoyed it.
Thanks. I found it real fascinating when I started into, I was doing a little bit of reading for a while and I've gotten away from that, but I really got into Dean Koontz and Stephen King obviously is a big deal, but Robert McCammon's another one that's a little lesser known. It's like a Southern guy that does the weird sort of horror with supernatural stuff blended in. And they just, those guys have their own short story, like anthology books, and Stephen King and Dean Koontz in particular. And when I read those, man, it was so different from the others, the full narrative novels that they had written, and and it caught me up by surprise. I was like, man, that's really cool. So these guys do it all, like short stories and these big long ones. So it inspired me a lot to try to branch out and to do that, along with like Tales from the Crypt and all the video and the TV shows that I've seen over time, too. Those are awesome. So I just tried to be like that. I was kind of take a page from all those people's books and kind of make my own book out of it,
Yeah. And, there's challenges to writing long series, but there's also challenges to writing short stories. When you only have like 8 pages where you have to introduce character, develop flaws, there's character development, there's, fan payoff, comedy, horror, whatever, a jump scare, a twist. It's hard to cram that into 8 pages.
Yeah, it is for sure. Yeah.
It's a talent in of itself.
Right. Yeah. These, whenever I first started it, I was told that, I guess Comics Wellspring told me that there's the average comic book's like 24 pages. I think that varies from who you ask or whatever, but nevertheless, I figured, okay, 24 pages, that's enough for 6-page stories. I can squeeze in 4 stories. But the original concept for Awful Thoughts was going to be more like a soliloquy, where it was like a story inside of multiple stories. And it was a little too much. Like I was a little too experimental with that. I didn't really know what I was doing. And so, but we got through like 3 of those issues where there was like an overarching narrative blended in with the short stories. So anybody that's curious or interested, you can go back and find those original issues and grab them. I don't think there's that many on eBay or out there. They're very low print, but they're out there though. And so, but I had to go back and readjust that. But I forgot the point I was making towards that. But nevertheless, like it's a lot of fun with the short stories. You can kind of, like you said, you can just go and have fun. But there are things to consider, and I don't really have to make you like the character as much. So I don't have to do a lot of development, because most of the time they're going to die anyways. I'm
just going to kill them anyway. Let's be honest.
I'm just going to murk them anyways. So but yeah, it's a lot of fun though, and you can still do stuff with that. I think I don't know if you can do this or not, or if you can say that you do this or not, but I'd like to try to put in a little a little bit of myself in all the stories. Like this particular character, like say for example, in Awful Thoughts, there's a guy at the end of it that works at a Chinese delivery food restaurant. I mean, he's a delivery driver. I mean, at a Chinese joint. And I've done that before. Like that was the most recent job I had before I started doing comic books. I would like right around the corner, there's a little mom and pop shop, and I delivered food for them. And it was cool. It was a little chill job. And but that's neat. Like that's a little piece of me that people can have that way if they don't know me or anything. Even if they do, they might not make draw that connection off the top of their head. I mean, right then and there. But nevertheless, hopefully, maybe one day you'll go back, and if you get to learn about me and who I am, you can see that and understand what that was about.
I do that as well. In Psycho Sal, I was writing a character named TL, and I made her a cellist, which I play the cello. I've played the cello since I was a child. But it was interesting because the artist had no idea what a cello was. So then I was like, so then I had to explain to the artist, like send a bunch of reference pictures, like how a cello works. Because then later on we destroy the cello. And it's like he drew it in a way I was like, that couldn't happen. Like it would never break like that. Like, let me explain to you how it would break, and like the tools that go with it, stuff like that. Like it took, it was a challenge. And I was like, I don't know. So there's always a pro and a con. So it's like, yeah, there's a piece of me in there, but was it worth it?
Right. So sometimes it works out. Sometimes, I know exactly what you mean though, about like when you and the artist have not necessarily a barrier, but when you tell when you're providing the instructions and the narrative and explaining to the artist what you're hoping they can accomplish with their sketches and translate that what you have written. Sometimes some things get lost in translation, or everything is not included because it's not necessary at the time. But whenever you get the artwork back, there might be something like you said that just the physics don't add up. You know what I mean? And it's not their fault in particular, but it's like somebody's taking, like you're expecting a character to be in this location and maybe they're moved just a little bit. And now it throws off other things. Like they're not like scientifically speaking, they can't be there at that time or that can't occur in my opinion, And so then you got to go back and rework it and that's fine and well, but you can get some little hurdles and stuff like that from time to time that you have to kind of obstacles to get around,
It was a fun conversation to be had. Like the cello would not explode like that just from playing it. It would be like a car exploding while sitting in park. Like there was no reason for that kind of massive destruction. It was funny.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, man, you do a ton of stuff. I want to talk to you some more about some writing mechanics, but let's take a break. Let's switch over to the YouTube page and let's watch the short film.
Your short film.
And I would love to talk with you more about that. If you're going to start doing some film and exploring more, I'd love to pick your brain about what you're going to do.
For the most part, for now, I'm just going to do stock footage, like video footage, and kind of slap it together and put some cool effects on it, and then some neat words and some, for those kind of things. Sound and audio is very important. We're trying to build that tone, and so I kind of build them around the tone of the music, like this little soundtrack or this little clip I have, and so I'll start with that and see how it goes, and then from there I'd love to get into like actually filming stuff too, so we'll definitely have some stuff to talk about in the future.
Yes, and I think that's where I need to be stronger too, is the audio. I have a lot of just audio and sound effects and jingles from the software, but I feel like I need to expand, and I probably need one of those subscriptions where they give you access to their stock sounds. So this is my YouTube page for anybody who is unfamiliar. It's at Laurie Calcaterra 360. Get it? Trinity 60. Haha. And then of course I have a bunch of different playlists. These ones you can't see, but I have a martial arts one. I have Life is Short, Eat Good Food Before You Die, where you get to watch me cook weird things like truffles, cheese, whatever. Of course, I have the Annie One World, the Madness Comic Network, the Tuesday Morning Brew, and D&D. So feel free to check out any of those. And then, of course, in the Path of the Pale Rider, I have everything from the slice and dice, short commercials, blooper reels. All of the short films are in here. Some of the interviews are in here. There's a ton of stuff.
God, you have done a lot, man.
Yeah, I have.
Been busy.
Yep. So
it's
this
cool
is
to
our
look back there, right? You can look back on that and be like, man, I've been through a lot, man.
Yeah, and what's hey Tom, how are you? Nice to see you. And what I love so much about what we decided to do with Path, where it's a comic book and then there's other stuff where you can fall down the rabbit hole. So there's the riddles, and then the short films. We get to explore more of, some of these smaller moments that happen in the comic that we don't have time to really expand upon. But if you think about them, they're, heartfelt, or they're traumatizing, or it's like you could really fall down a rabbit hole and explore more. So like the first one we did was this one, Pine Fox commercial. So it's a commercial for the undead retirement community. What would it look like? And then it's interspliced with riots and things on fire and violence. So it's like what the world is telling you to believe versus what is actually happening, so it's in juxtaposition. And then the second one we did, where is it? Here it is, the conspiracy theory one. And this was a ton of fun because the fans, it was so early, like nobody really has a clue what's caused death to break, right? And so the fans all came together, and I dressed up as a reporter, and I was interviewing people like, what do you think broke death? And people were allowed to say whatever they wanted. And it's just some really funny stuff, some thought out things, and maybe what, could cause a global apocalypse. Like, is it food, sugar, GMOs, vaccines? And other people were like, voodoo pygmies, they're back. So there's McDonald's, there's cats. It's great stuff. Yes. Thank you, Tom. That's great. Check out Jeff. I have his Instagram linked in the description. That's the best way to contact him right now. And then the third one we did was a call to action. It's a short about this lady who is hosting a dinner party, and then there's something happening in the background because all these people keep canceling the dinner party, and she's just pissed off because she had to cook for 12 people and now everybody canceled. But then a call to action happens, right? And then all of a sudden, whatever was happening on the news that these people were watching happens to her. This one was fun because the fans got to either film themselves and send it in to me, or they got to take a picture of themselves as a dead body, and they're in the end part of the movie because a lot of people get killed. So
nice.
And then
that reminds me that angle, that approach there reminds me a lot of Cloverfield when the first movie came out. I loved how J.J. Abrams kind of puts you in this the way that they use the cameras, and it was a little choppy and kind of hard to follow at times, but it was just really neat to see them that style of movie to put in that situation where they're having a great time and they're celebrating and it's all in real time, and then all of a sudden just the shit hits the fan, And it's like,
then they start seeing stuff on the news, like something is happening, and they're not exactly tuned in because they're having a going away party for somebody, and then there's a breakup happening. So there's all this like personal drama, which then becomes secondary when this monster shows up and just terrorizes the city. So it's a difference of like watching the drama happen on TV and then having the drama come home, and that's kind of what that is too. So, but this one is called A Day in the Life, and it's us exploring what happens to a nuclear family when someone becomes undead. And just as a reminder for anybody that's watching who is unaware of Path of the Pale Rider, how the world works, your body can die, but your soul doesn't leave, but you're still you. So you're not brain craving, you're not trying to eat people, but you get forgetful or violent or detached. It's like you start to smell because you're rotting. So that's the kind of setup for this, is one of the family members becomes undead, and then how do they deal with that? Some of the things, some of the challenges. So, okay, I'll be quiet now. Here we go.
More than 10, do it again.
Okay, I'm headed to mom.
How is that a flag?
Okay, the kids are in GPs. They'll eat home. You got your dinner for tonight?
Yeah, dinner for tonight? Just kidding. Yeah, I got dinner.
Brad, okay.
What?
Don't forget your heart medication.
Don't forget your heart medication.
All right, I'm going to see you later.
Another flag?
A lot later. All right, bye-bye.
Have a good time, babe. Love you. Amy's mints. Hold that! Hold! Organic? Go! Go, big man! Go, big man! Let's go! No! 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 Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, I forgot it. Oh, Alex. Oh, God.
Ugh.
Nope, you did.
Crap.
Hi, honey.
No.
What happened?
I died.
Hello, Mrs. Smith?
Yeah, this is her.
I'm sorry. You're gonna need to talk to a different department. I need a transfer of title. Your house is solely in your husband's name.
Yeah, I understand that. Did you guys not get the will I sent over?
Yes, we received your documents. However, it was illegible. I don't know if there was some damage. Do you have a different copy? You can send another copy.
No, it's water damage. It was stuck to other stuff.
Ma'am, if you don't have another copy that's out of my hands, we're just gonna have to, unfortunately, place a lien on the property until further date. You can talk to the transfer department and see if there's...
Nope. Fuck that. Everything's falling apart.
Look, let me go talk to him. I'll be loud and I'll create a stink.
Nope. Babe, you're dead. You can't do anything anymore.
I mean, dead, but I'm still me.
I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm frustrated. Like everything feels like it's falling apart. Oh my God. The kids. What are we gonna tell them?
It's gonna be all right. You'll see.
I have a really bad feeling about this.
What?
Why am I on the floor? What happened?
I'm late for work. The kids are at school. I gotta go. I don't have time to talk about it.
Wait for more undead puns. It'll be great.
Because you were up and down all night. Well, driving me crazy. I had to go out at 3 a.m. and just sit on the couch.
No way.
See for yourself.
No.
So this is the first time he's doing something funny in the middle of the night, and he doesn't remember.
I don't remember any of this.
All night. And now I'm late for work, so please don't forget to pick up the kids.
I can remember to pick up the kids.
Okay. Bye.
I'm not gonna forget.
Bye.
What does she think I am? Stupid? I can get the kids.
Oh, God.
What the hell are you doing? Get out of the road! I'm so sorry. I didn't even see you. You stupid deadhead. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry. What the heck was that? Turn right. Get the kids. Okay. I got this.
He said
gonna be
turn
okay.
right. He
Take a
went
right.
left.
It's no problem. I can remember that. What the heck is with today? What's with all these people? What? What's the matter with me? Do I smell bad? I don't smell that bad, do I? Got hit by a car, but that's not a problem. I was... Where am I? Oh, crap.
I looked here. I don't know.
Hey, is this your husband?
Yes.
Wow, I found him wandering around in some cornfields up on 380.
Oh, thank you so much for finding him. We've been looking for him forever.
Well, you need to keep a better eye on him.
Yeah. Okay. What happened?
I don't know. I was walking to get
The kids.
Oh shit! I
had to leave work early. Can you do anything anymore?
Yes, I can. Look, I almost got hit by a car.
We'll talk about this later. Yeah, no, we found him. He's okay. Ish.
What? Oh. What the heck?
Yeah.
Good morning.
It's not. We have to talk.
Okay. What's the matter?
I just need to show you. What is he doing? Brad! Brad! What are you doing? Brad, stop! Brad, stop!
I'm so sorry. I don't remember any of that.
Yeah, I know that's not the problem. You're not in control of yourself anymore. You don't even know what you're doing. And you stink. And I don't know if we just need to put you in the guest room or something. No, it's just.
The guest room?
No, like lock you in, babe. You're coming after people. Man, I can't even do that. I can't even do it. I can't do this anymore.
But maybe she is right. What if I am a danger to the kids? I couldn't live with my.
You see all of his air fresheners?
Yeah, nice.
I was like, should we do Path of the Pale Rider air fresheners? I'm just wondering.
Myself.
I was gonna tell you there'd be a cool, like you could do a little thing like some like a Madame Morticiana's elixir of the living, something smell good like perfumes or something to
Oh
sell.
no, I pushed the button. Say it again. What were you saying?
Just something silly like something like to piggyback on that. Like I kept thinking to myself when you were talking about how they would smell when they're dead.
Yeah.
There would be a great opportunity for somebody to come in and offer like a perfume or something that helps people to not have to deal with that stench, when they're for the dead. They can like Madame Morticia's or whoever you want to name it, some kind of special like elixir, like something you'd see on a covered wagon, like back in the day in the early 19th century, the wandering people or early 20th century, like people with all those different cough syrups and different smell goods and things like that, something cool, like something catchy like that.
Yeah. No, we're definitely going to go there. Like we haven't talked about two things. One, I haven't brought this up at all yet, but like snake oil salesmen, the people that are trying to sell you like vaccines and cures and stuff to protect you from this, because I'm sure that would be running rampant. And two, what the undead do to themselves so that they can self-preserve. So either self-embalming techniques or makeup and chemical combinations so that way they can pass as human for longer, besides hacking your disc and stuff like that. How do you appear to be human so they don't come and take you away, which is, what happens a lot of times.
Yeah. I couldn't live with myself.
Oh, what the heck?
Live with myself. So what's the answer here?
Oh, pushing all the buttons.
I should just get lost, stay lost.
There he goes, wandering off again. Where you are, come back. You do from all
Hi. Hi. Where was he this time?
This time? This has happened before?
Yeah, a lot.
Oh, I found him on 423 and G Road, walking in circles. But I found your address on one of this air freshener, so that was smart.
We're trying anything we can at this point.
Hey, have you considered Pine Fox Undead Retirement Community? Yeah. My parents went there,
No, thank you.
Hey, wait. Rude. Cats.
You can't take these walks anymore.
Real quick, that lady was in the conspiracy theory video, and she went off about cats, how cats started the apocalypse and why death is missing. So that we had to throw in one little like extra cats as she walked off the porch just for fun.
Nice.
Keep getting lost.
I don't know. Maybe it's better if I stay lost.
What does that mean?
It means I don't belong anywhere.
Where would you go?
I don't know. Aren't there retirement communities for people like me?
Not for us. You don't have an income, and we have a lien on our house.
What do you want me to do?
I don't know. I'm just tired. I'm overwhelmed. I haven't slept in forever. I'm just gonna go lay down.
Fine. I'll just go to the guest room and pretend like I don't exist. Alex? No. No. Alex! Alex? Alex?
Brad Smith! Open the door!
No! It's not what it looks like!
Brad Smith!
I didn't...
You have been found undead in a living community, and you are sentenced to collection. Open the door, or we will break it down!
All right, real quick. This is the zombie parade. So back when we were running the Kickstarter for 4, I had about 40 people send me pictures, which I then zombified for these credits. So there's a ton of people in here. Just wait and you'll see. Those are my kids. There's Corissa. Miller. Ben. Another Ben. Aaron. Here's Pops.
I love all the little descriptions.
You know what, I loved. I created all these little like descriptions of what happened and how these people got collected. Because again, these are all like a bunch of undead people getting collected. So Pops was collected in a basement where he runs his show. Obviously, body decomposition made lower half detach upon removal. Both halves are in detainment.
Nice. Both functional still.
Now, this was a friend of my sister's, the lady on the right side, but she actually has the word zombie tattooed on her lip.
Oh, wow. Nice.
So I was like,
that felt good. God.
Right. I was like, I need you in my video. She was like, what? And I was like, hi, I'm Becky's sister. Like, you don't know me, but I need to take your picture with your lip because I would love to have it in my video. So I explained the whole thing. And she was like, oh, yeah, that'll be fun. And that's it, people. That's the video.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Thank you. But feel free to peruse through here. If you just want to see yourself in the credits, I have like the day in the life credits as a separate thing. So you can just watch that if you want. But there's all sorts of fun stuff here. All my other videos are here. The bloopers with Ellie Brock and me getting run over by a car, me talking about Path, and all the slice and dices. They're here. So all good stuff. Thanks for watching with me, Jeff.
Yeah, it's cool. I enjoyed it. It's nice. I can always kind of see what you guys are up to and draw inspiration and kind of see what's working, for you and what might not be working for you and kind of take from that and see how I can build on that, and I can appreciate that for sure.
It was interesting because as I continue to make these, I'm finding that I really do need actors. Like the last one I did a ton of the acting myself, but like setting up the camera and trying to focus and get the whole shot when I'm the only one in it is very difficult unless I have like a stand-in. Like a lot of times I would bug my husband. I'm like, can you come here? Can you stand right here? And I can just focus the shot. So with actors, the filming part, once we're together, goes quicker, but dealing with all the schedule, it's like playing D&D. You know what I mean?
Right.
The scheduling is the hardest part because everybody has a life and everybody has stuff going on, and there's kids and, you know, my kids, their kids, whoever. And then, you know, when we start having extras, then it's you're adding in those schedules too. So that I think was the most challenging part, was just finding the time to get everybody together. But once we were together, everything went pretty quick, and they were a great team. They're husband and wife already. So it, you know, they were in the same house, and they were both, you know, really interested in being in the short film, and they took direction great. And so we had a blast. I have so much footage. Poor Brad in the beginning when he was eating all the chips and stuff. Like I made him eat a ton of chips, and he was spitting stuff out, and you know, all this unnecessariness, because then I end up having to edit it, you know, to make it shorter. One thing that's really cool, Jeff, is that this short film is actually scheduled to have a cinema night with some other independent films in London next month.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I had never expected my short films to be on a screen in another country. That's crazy.
Right. That's pretty cool. So,
yeah.
It's neat to see, like, you, if you've been doing it for as long as we have, eventually over time, you'll meet people that you didn't even know were paying attention or were interested in. Like, I've had several occasions where somebody will send me a link, and it's them, and they've got their own blog or whatever they've got going on the website or content channel or anything, and they've done a review of your story. And they've read it, they've analyzed it, and they're like, wow, they really went to like great lengths to really get in there and criticize it in a good way, in a positive way, you know, not, but I hate to say, when I see the word criticism, I think people tend to take that as one thing or the other. Criticism can be good or bad. It's just somebody breaking down your work, right? Yeah, they're just critiquing it. So I don't mean it in that way, but it's really neat to see like somebody take that extra step and look at something and to reflect that, and the same thing you were thinking when you made it, like, and they're just nailing it, you know, like, wow, that's exactly what I was going for. Like, great, good job, you know. But it makes you feel good, like validated, and to know that people are out there paying attention and taking it for more than it face value, you know.
And this is exactly what I'm trying to do right here. It's interesting to see more of the world. The story lives, you know, from outside the world. So it's, you know, there's more going on than what I can show you in the comic. And that's why I feel compelled to do other things to kind of enrich the world and make it bigger. And the more things that people participate in, the better the story gets. The more you understand, the more emotionally attached you are to it. So it works for all of us, because I feel like if you're emotionally attached to my characters, you're more likely to come back and read more of the story anyway. Right.
Right. What's going to happen to them, you know?
What's that?
So yeah, right. They want to know, like, what's going to happen to this guy or this girl, you know, what's going on with them. You know?
And I love bringing people back. So it's like we had Ellie Brock in the news report, and then Ellie Brock showed up in the Kickstarter welcome video as the dead, you know, version of herself. And it's like, these characters I'm attached to as well. So I already have an idea of what I want to do for the next short film. I want it to be like an instructional video, like, oh, so you're recently undead, and it like lays out the rules of the world. And I want to parade, you know, through some of the undead people that we've seen, like Brad, and we'll reveal what happened to his wife Rachel, whether she's alive or not. You know what I mean? She'll probably call him stupid and tell him he stinks. You know, we might have Ellie Brock there, and like, just, you know, anybody that's been in previous short films that would be fun to like have them come back and help explain some of the rules of, you know, Path of the Pale Rider. So if you're recently deceased and you watch this video, it would kind of explain to you what's going to happen.
Got that sort of Beetlejuice vibe, like when you're in limbo, you know, like, so you've died. Here's a pamphlet, you know, like it's got a checklist on it, and you're waiting to see the receptionist or the doctor, the undead doctor or whatever. And that's great. I like it. It's a nice touch. And like you said, bringing back other characters that you've created or that somebody's helped you create together, and then showing them again. Like, repetition is a big thing I've noticed and learned, that you know, trying to repeat things, then kind of nails it home, you know, for the viewer and the fan, whatever you want, the reader, anything that it shows them that you've taken the time to really kind of incorporate these characters and flesh out this world a little bit more. And so anytime you can make a callback like that, it's great. Especially if somebody's paying attention and notices it, they'll appreciate it a little more than the average person who, it might go over their head. You know, they might not catch it at first, but then they'll go back and listen to it like a song, you know, like you didn't know what such and such was saying in their lyrics. And you go back a month later and you're like, oh, that's what they're saying. That's awesome. You know, you kind of appreciate it a little more, you know, makes you feel like they went took extra steps to really make you immerse you in this experience, you know?
Yeah, and that's the kind of stuff that I love. I love watching behind the scenes and like the Easter eggs that are in stuff. Like I remember watching Moon Knight, and there was like a QR code in the museum that if you paused it and scanned it, it would take you to a free read of the first issue of Moon Knight. Stuff like that. I love that.
Yeah, very neat. I like that too.
I strive to put that, you know, create that for my readers because it's just so much fun.
Ironically, the first time that I saw something like that really caught me, and I didn't know what it was at the time, but was in high school when Resident Evil, the first game, came out, you know, as a zombie game kind of based on that and infected stuff. And they had in the very beginning of that video game, the very first one was live action intro for that, and the crew that you actually play as in the video game, you see them for the live action before you ever see them in the video game, and they go down in the helicopter and they're getting chased by the Cerberus dogs and they run into the mansion, and then boom, the game starts and you're in the mansion. It's like, wow, that's cool. Like that's something different, you know what I mean? That's cool, and it really caught me and really just stuck with me for the rest of my life, and I've kind of tried to do stuff like that ever since. You know, when I try to give people that extra little bit of it, that little extra little pop, you know what I mean?
And for me, it was The Matrix, because the Matrix movie came out, and then there was in between when they were filming, and there was the Animatrix.
You're right. You're right.
Had all those little
comic
short
and they were animated films and all
those
that.
were so awesome. And then they had like there's a video game, there's an Xbox game. Like there was a graphic novel. Like you could participate in any way that you wanted. And a lot of the stuff that they made, like I remember playing the Xbox game, you could hack the game.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Nice.
So it's like if you could figure out how to hack the Matrix, you could play in a different manner than just the regular playthrough. So stuff like that is what intrigues me. You know?
Genre jumping, I think, is what you would call it, or like medium jumping, where you kind of move from like one medium to it. Yeah, like meta, in a meta sense, and then like taking it from like a video, like a movie, to a comic book, to an animated series, to an action figure. It's just you're jumping across these different ways that people ingest content, or that they consume, and that they like to look at stuff, and I think that gives people more. It adds more depth, you know. It just makes your project that much more, your story that much more expansive, you know, and easy for people to get into, because somebody might not like a comic book, but they love anime or manga, or they might not like an action figure, but they like a little pin, or like a little art print, or whatever, you know, anything in between there. So you giving people options and ways to engage with them and to you know, enjoy your stuff.
We did a choose your own adventure book.
Yeah, I remember it. I haven't read that though. I want to check that out. How'd that turn out?
It turned out great, and I'm still selling it. Like people are still buying it. I actually had to find a different printer because the printer, my publisher switched printers, and then the price went up dramatically. So I had to order them from somewhere else, but people are still ordering them. I'm sold out at the moment, so I had to reprint some, and they're coming. And then I got to fulfill the ones from the last Kickstarter, and then I'll have some in stock. But those sell out super quick. They're a lot of fun though.
They're so much fun. I remember when I was a kid and they had the original ones, the OG versions. And they had various stories, and like one what I remember it stuck with me was like you're on a planet with a bunch of dragons that was kind of like Rain of Fire and Matthew McConaughey.
Cool.
But like you're in space and stuff, and it was really neat because like every turn you make, it seemed like you were just destined to die. You know, what I mean? Like you got to really, really be careful with this one, like tiptoe through the tulips, you know, and so but there's others that were more, you know, the easier to get through. And I noticed when I started working at the Dragon's Lair place, when I got back into comic books, that the D&D people, not necessarily Wizards of the Coast, but just any third parties, and there were a lot of people that were trying to do those kind of stories, and it's a way to pull people into that are the D&D kind of world without really just like throwing a bunch of math and dice and stuff at them, just kind of letting them have fun with this kind of fantasy genre, and slowly kind of ease them into that, you know. And it's a lot of fun because they get to make choices, and you know, and stuff like that, and it's great because you put so much time and effort into one path or whatever sometimes, and then only to find out that, you know, you made the wrong decision and you die a bloody death at the end. So
that was always me, like, oh, I see death on them, like go back a decision and see if I can get around it.
right. Let's bypass that.
But I love that about choose your own adventure books, because you die and then like, okay, go back and try again, or try
go back and try again, right? Yeah.
I want to see all the different ways that you can go. So I you know, as a kid, when I was doing choose your own adventure, it was like play it again and again and again. and see if you can get a different outcome. So
Yeah, when those were when they'd have the book fairs, man, I'd look for those. Would be the first thing I'd look for, like those. And where's Waldo and like a Hank the Cow Dog and a couple other ones. But like that, those choose your own adventures were the bomb, man.
Yeah, I feel I have a hankering to do another one.
Yeah,
So
should.
I was thinking I would do one, and then I would want. I don't know if I can do these myself, like 3D print, but a coin.
Yeah.
So there'd be some pages where you make a decision, and some pages, if you get there, you have to flip a coin, and
cool.
heads will take you one way, so it's chance. You really don't have a decision on some of the things that will happen. I think that would be cool.
It is cool. We're gonna add that random element to it.
Yeah. So you're thinking about doing some videos. Is there anything else you're thinking about doing to like kind of expand your universe or outside the box?
Off the top of my head, not right now. What I want to do next is, now that I've got everything kind of corralled, and I'm going to have the titles, and it's kind of like, I call it like the lineup, you know, for 2024 and beyond. It's kind of like the final cut, the roster, so to speak. And then kind of start to fine tune it all. And then, like I said, focus on one book at a time, but I'll have a nice little assortment of stuff that I can then take on the road with me. Because I've done cons, I've done signings and store appearances and stuff, but it's never really been like the complete set, you know, I think the really fully realized version of what I could be and what I can offer and how to engage with people. Because when people come by your table and stuff, and the more you have, obviously, the better chances you're going to have of pulling them in with something. You know, they might not like those 4 covers or those 4 t-shirts or whatever, but that one design, they're like, oh man, I got to have that. And that brings them in, and then from there you can see if they'd like anything else. And it's it's an opportunity to meet somebody and to do some business and then to build a relationship. And the more you have, the better. And now I'm going to be in a position where I've got that, so I'm going to be ready to kind of to take it onto the road and move into this more full-time creating stuff, as opposed to cleaning and pressing and buying and selling books. I want to get on the road more and do more conventions and shows and be more visible. And hopefully that can help me to build that network out quicker, so that when I go to do Kickstarters in the future, it's not really necessarily, I don't really struggle necessarily, but it can be tough and challenging. And there's dead zones and stuff where once the people you've called up on and asked to help you out, your super backers and all that, whenever they're done, you know, then there's a little bit to clean up still. I'd like that to be able to be like just a guarantee. Like, I've got enough friends and family and supporters, and as soon as I drop that on Kickstarter, bam, it's funded. And not only that, but it's profiting, you know, because all too often we'll set a funding goal, and it might just be something that's reasonable that we think we can reach, but it's not the complete funding goal necessarily. Like, it's not going to pay for everything. So oftentimes us as creators will have to come out of pocket to continue funding these things, even if they say they're 100% funded. And that's fine and well, because that's the price we pay and the risks we take and things of that sort. But nevertheless, I would like, in a perfect world, I'd love these things to be doing like 150, 200 backers, $6,000, something like that, you know, where that way I can pay my artist, and then we can get everything printed comfortably, and I can still have some money to make this an actual profession rather than a passion profession, you know, because I'm still kind of in between there, where it's not quite a hobby, it's not quite a full-time job. It's like in between somewhere, you know, and I'm trying to get over the hump, you know, and it just takes a lot of work, as you can attest to. You got to build out that network, and you got to meet people and show people that you're passionate and you're committed and dedicated, and not just to yourself, but to the community as a whole, you know?
Of course. Yeah. It's a lot of building relationships and maintaining relationships, and then also finding new relationships.
Yeah. For sure.
It's so tough out there right now. I have some great friends that own comic book stores, and 2 of them closed this past year.
I have one down out here that did too. Unfortunately, he opened up at COVID, had a great concept out there in a little smaller area outside of Houston called Tomball, and they had a cafe kind of thing, and they had fresh pastries that people would bring in. They sourced locally, and then he had a espresso machines and all that, and snacks, and a big old gaming floor that they could go and play D&D and Pokemon and stuff. And it's just hard out there, man. You know, you can't really books. You know, especially nowadays, people can buy books online. And they can go to places like Facebook, and they can find them from me, or people that even have them that there's sellers out there that have brick and mortars, but they're also more internet based. So they can get on there in the groups, and they can pre-sell their new comic book day stuff for a discounted rate. And they're kind of bypassing, or what we call short stopping. They're cutting off the brick and mortars in a sense. And it's, it's very much dog eat dog, and that's okay. That's how capitalism works. But nevertheless, it's unfortunate that it's taking away from the actual physical locations. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm going to a store called Carpe Diem this weekend, and it's going to be, they're going to be around until May the 4th. And then they are closing on May the 4th, which is, that'll be their last open day, which is of course Free Comic Book Day. But Such great people, Shadow and Liz, and they have this giant dog named Pancake who is a store fixture. His name is Pancake. It's hilarious. And it's such a great place. And I really wish I had found them sooner because they're about a half an hour away from me. And I know the community loves them. And it's just, again, the rent is too high and people are not buying.
Exactly.
So unfortunately, they're going to be closing up shop, and it breaks my heart. I really wish that, I could win the lotto and do something, contribute in some way. But I will be there this weekend too. So if people want to come see me, I'll be in McKinney at Carpe Diem on the 13th, hanging out with Shadow and Liz and probably crying with them. I probably will shed a few tears because I'm really upset.
It's going to be an emotional experience.
Yeah, just, one final day, one final goodbye. And then Free Comic Book Day, I'm going to be in Geek Out in Mansfield. I'm excited. Marco will be there. Sam Vera will be there. We're all going to be in one look. It's going to be nonsense. And then Lauren Wright will be there. So that's exciting. I'm looking forward to that. I didn't sign up for any cons this summer. I'll probably do some in the fall. My brother's having a my brother isn't my sister-in-law is having the baby in June. So I kind of left that open because I don't know when I'm going to be going at this point, but I couldn't, Marco always tries to go to Dallas Fan Expo, which is a great, that one's huge, I guess. Marco's coming down to Comics Palooza. So
nice.
You'll be able to hook up down there. Yeah.
It's down here. It's a big thing. I've never actually been myself, but when I was working at Dragon's Lair, it's a pretty big location. It started in Austin, pretty big franchise. I mean, and they took like the owner and staff. We took like a third of the store or something. Like it was a big deal, like a big section, and it's a big process and it costs a lot of money. And for creators and artists, I know they have an artist alley thing, but I think you got to get in like super early or like have a know somebody that knows somebody. And assuming you have the money to afford it, I don't think it's terribly expensive, but it costs a little bit of money. But yeah,
travel and hotel, that would be for me. It's not like I'm crashing at your house, Jeff.
Right. And that's just, that's something else I have to consider for myself is when I start getting into that a little bit more next year. Got to pick and choose your battles and how far your car can take you and how much money you can, get along. Cause I'm not going to get per diem, you know what I mean? So it's coming out of my pocket. Right. So,
it's hard. It's like, not only do you have to get a hotel, but you also got to cart all your stuff around. What can fit in your car? And that will determine kind of your setup. Right. Because it's like, I would love to bring everything with me and pile it on my table, but it needs to have some kind of organization. Otherwise people they come to your table and they just, you know what I mean? Because if it's not organized, you don't look professional either. Right. So, do you have banners? Do you have what are you bringing with you? Will it all fit in your truck? And then is someone coming with you or are you carrying all this in by yourself? So all of that, plus food and then gas and then, hotel.
There's a big, I think one of the biggest horror conventions every year is out here in Houston too. It's the Houston Horror Film Festival. And they have that in as an older Marriott that's in a pretty good location on Katy. And I think is where it was. Anyways, it was a lot of fun and it was just jam packed and it didn't cost that much, made some money. But it's a really good experience. And that was the first, I got to do it on my birthday weekend last year, actually. Cool. And I was curious about that because being a horror, right? Doing horror, it can, even though it's a comic book, it's that type of people, and there were a lot of people that were there for the celebrities and that were still very much like just specifically into like Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers or Chucky was a big deal. And all this, the people that were out there that used to play these characters or they still have some kind of connection in some way. And so a lot of them are very much into that, but I was very, I was happy to see that in spite of that being a big part of the demographic, there were also a lot of people that were very supportive of the other things, the other more experimental things, where there's a lot of guys that I sat next to a group called the Janus Clique. Shout out Janus Clique. They're in Missouri, I think, and they do independent, little, small budget, trauma type of short films and stuff, and just really weird stuff. You know what I mean? And really strange, and disturbing, and bizarre, and just off the wall, kind of like I don't know how to explain it other than that. But they were so much fun. They had a really good time, and there were a lot of them, and we got to hang out and interact, and then just being in that environment was a lot of fun. And I'm sure the same thing would go for a traditional comic book convention as well. And I did there was a mini convention that we did a couple weeks ago with me and my buddy Juan. And I didn't have my books ready yet to sell my own stuff, but we did go out there and had some resale stuff like $2 books and wall books and stuff like a traditional comic shop. And we did really well. And again, it was another opportunity to be out there and to meet people. I got to see people that I didn't know were going to be there, that I know in the community, and that's always a lot of fun when you see a familiar face, and and so it's just a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to getting out there, but there is a lot that's going to go into it, so I want to make sure I'm prepared and ready whenever the time comes.
No, I feel you, and I know eventually you and I, our paths will cross because we're both Texans. We're not technically that far away. We're about 4 hours away, I would think. So eventually I think, we'll end up at the same con and like give us, the good high five and buddy, let's hang out, let's talk horror. So all that good stuff, right? It'll happen.
Right.
I want to do Texas Frightmare. I think that's in Fort Worth.
I've heard of that one. Yeah. I think, where is that one?
I think it's Fort Worth. I'm going to Google it.
I want to say it is. Yeah. I want to say it's somewhere over there by you, closer to you than me.
Yeah,
that's a big one too. There's a couple. There's 2 or 3 of them that are really big. I was looking, and there's like a Day of the Dead one, like a zombie themed one. That's really cool looking. And there's some other ones. The Brandon Starochi, is that as you say last name? Brandon. Yeah. I think it does.
Starochi? I don't know.
Yeah. What's that book? What's his book? Oh, I feel terrible.
Avalon.
I can't remember.
It's called Avalon.
Yeah. So I've been seeing a lot of him lately. They've been very active, and I know that'd be right up his alley, man. So Brandon, if you see that and you don't know about it, go check it out.
Yeah. So Texas Frightmare is the 17th, May 17th, Fridays through Sunday.
Okay. That's
so
coming
17th through the 19th. So they're probably sold out by this point. I'll go look. How much are their tables? Contact us. Buy tickets.
The ultimate goal is to get I want to get to the point where these people call me and ask me to come out and do stuff, like eventually.
Yeah, I know. That would be great.
That's the dream. Yeah, that's the dream right there, so.
Yeah. Oh, it's in Irving. Cool. That's not too far.
Irving, okay. In Dallas.
Irving is it's north of Dallas, but it's west of me.
The Rangers have been kicking the Astros butts lately, so I'm not big on Dallas Fort Worth area right now.
The what's kicking your butt?
The Rangers, the Texas Rangers, they've been kicking the Astros butt. Yeah, right. They've been playing really good lately. So even then, knocked us out of the playoffs last year. So pretty sports fans, yeah. So
I love the Astros. Follow sports. I'm originally from Michigan, so I mean, we used to follow college sports, but the Lions stunk, and the Tigers would consistently poop out. They were really good. They would always get to the playoffs and then poop out, right?
Yeah.
Hey Ryan, nice to see you, man.
Yeah, the Pistons, they were really good for a long time. The Bad Boys, they were awesome.
Not anymore. So again, it's you just learn to not care about sports unless it's U of M or the Spartans, or you know what I mean.
I used to be really into sports, big time. You know what I mean? I'd like to. I don't even mind throwing a couple wagers out there. Just really supportive of my teams and the hometown teams, and into it, And I've just kind of slowly but surely, like you said, it's just kind of doesn't matter as much anymore. It's don't have as much invested into them. It's they're a team, they're local, but they're these guys aren't there's no connection there. So beyond that, when COVID came around and they started putting fake people in the crowd and stuff, and trying to make fake audio and make it sound like the volume was increasing and try to give you this experience that you were there. It really kind of did something to me where I was I don't care about sports anymore. You know what I mean? I don't know what it was, but
I still watch cardboard cutouts in the stands.
Yeah. And they would charge, you could pay to get your face on there. And I was this is ridiculous, man. To each his own, but
you could pay money to have someone else could have your face on a cardboard cutout. What is that?
Right. Like advertising in a way, I guess, for your own brand. And so, to each his own. People did it, but nevertheless, it kind of took away from the experience to me. Because I think part of the sports is enjoying the crowd, again, community and stuff, and being a part of that and feeling you're helping impact the game with your cheers or your boos or whatever, and that just was non-existent at that time. And it was man.
Damn it, I missed so I'm looking at this Texas Frightmare. They're not accepting anybody at this point, which I understand. Vendor applications open in August for the following May. That's nuts.
Yeah.
I don't know who their big guest is this year.
Who?
Warwick Davis.
Nice. I love Warwick Davis. He's great.
Yeah.
Willow.
I don't know.
He did there's a documentary called An Idiot Abroad with Ricky Gervais produced it with this other guy that you would recognize if you saw him. I don't know his name, but big, taller English guy. And they have their buddy, and again, I can't remember his name, but he's the main guy in this show. And they just send him around and doing stupid crap and like put him in situations where he's not comfortable and make him travel. So like you tell me, yeah, you're going to Hawaii, but you got to go inside a volcano, and stuff like that, and he's funny as hell. And there's a point there where he's going to he's doing some in Asia, and he's doing some kind of, I think he's like Buddhist monastery or something of that sort, and he's having to climb up these giant mountains. And Warwick Davis comes along for the ride, and he goes to India with him, and you get to see Warwick for the first time, and like I haven't seen him in a long time.
Yeah.
He's doing good. He's healthy. He's happy, and they have a really fun dynamic there because I don't think they were very big friends prior to the show, but you can see their dynamic, and kind of how it evolves over time. And it's a really fun ride. If you ever check it out, it's called An Idiot Abroad.
That's funny.
Yeah,
I'll have to watch it. Wasn't there some other thing? It might be the same thing where he was like, it was supposed to be like a mockumentary. Like he was starring in it, and he was like, I forget what he was doing. But
are you talking about Warwick Davis?
Yeah, he was playing himself, but it was like, obviously it wasn't something that he was really like trying to find jobs, or like his agent would send him these like weird roles. Like there's no way that he's getting weird roles at this point.
Yeah.
Warwick Davis.
Right. He's done a lot,
Carl
man.
Pinkerton is Gervais's buddy, and he's hilarious at it.
There you go. Yeah, Kyle
Life's
Pinkerton.
Too Short. Yeah.
Those are good movies. They're good shows. Yeah.
Ricky Gervais, for The Office. And
Yeah,
then
he's
Irving
right.
is okay. So about 45 minutes. That's not bad. I would totally go to Irving. I might go. What is this? When AI fans start booing the home team, that's when you start.
Right. The AI booing. That's great.
As they should. The team is
AI, man.
sucking.
Everything's AI taking over now, man. It's just everything you see it's driving me nuts. Like all the programs and websites and anything you use or subscribe to or pay for, they want to integrate AI now, and like even like my PayPal and everything from PayPal to the fast food restaurants and stuff. Even
Dude, even StreamYard. When I was creating, I think it's new. I've seen it in a couple of weeks where it's like when you're creating the show, it says upload a thumbnail or have AI generate you a thumbnail.
And it's neat. It's neato, right? But it's also very concerning and disappointing that I have, for example, Envato Elements is one of the subscriptions I subscribe to. It's just a website. You go on there, and they have all sorts of stock footage and graphics and fonts and audio, and you can use any of it. It's all royalty free as you pay the subscription. And then you download the license and you have it. You can use it. And nowadays, what I've noticed is in the last month or so, they would rather you use their generative AI to create your own image than refer to their stock footage, which has just thousands of videos and photos archived that you can use and pull from. And they'd rather, it's interesting that they would want to push you in a direction towards the AI rather than access their vault of stuff. I don't know. It's just little, I don't know. It's very strange. Like you took all this time to collect all these photos and videos and people are, it appeals to people. Then
I know why. I know why. Because every time you download someone's stock image, they have to pay them.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's probably that's a good reason. That would explain it. So, but it's just,
I was like, why would they do that? I'm like, it has to do with money. Everything is money, right?
It's always money. Yeah, every time. So.
Yeah, exactly. They don't want to pay residuals.
It's getting to the point now where okay, here's something that I've meant to tell you that I haven't told you yet for the good, on the back end of this interview. The next thing I want to do that is new that I'm going to try out is doing digital artwork and my own digital covers. So I want to try to experiment and do for Roseville. I'm working on one now, and it's just completely organic, original artwork that I've made off of just using Photoshop and stock footage or stock photos and my own graphic design elements infused with it. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm hoping I'm hoping that people will like it and that I can kind of create this new sort of, I don't know, trend or just a new kind of thing that people have not experienced yet. Like most writers and creators and the bigger publishing houses, like, anything, Marvel and DC and Image and those guys, very few of those creators or writers are artists, and very few of the artists are writers, but there
Yes.
are more artists that can write versus the opposite. You'll see like Donny Cates and Chip Zdarsky and very few others might get like a featurette cameo cover that they've done, like, and they'll offer it as like a 1 in 500 or 1 in whatever. It's a very hard to get, and it's not exactly like gonna blow you away, but the artist took the writer took the time to draw this and to make it, and some people gravitate to it, and others it's okay, but nevertheless it's something that's different that not many people do. And so I'd like to try to take that a step further and make it like this really cool piece of like visceral, strange, like collage of art of ideas that come together and make this really neat cover that people are just kind of like, whoa, that's different. Like, I like that.
That's
and
cool.
like Martin Simmons is really good about that. He does a Department of Truth and all those covers with James Tinney and writing, and just some really neat stuff that you kind of look at and just like, I don't know, it just pulls you in. It just makes you, every time you look at it, you see something different, you know? And so I'm going to try that and see how it goes. And if it goes well, then I'd like to try to do that more consistently. Like with each book I do, it'll become synonymous with like, well, there's going to be Jeofrey's got a cover for that one too. And then maybe one day help out other people and do covers for them and become this more than just a writer, you know, become more of like a writer artist hybrid type of thing.
I thought about doing covers too, but I just am all.
Man, first off, it's very time consuming. I'll tell you that much, you know, because as you know, making graphics, especially when you get them just right and moving them around. But also, you know, it's just there's just a new thing to do. It's going to take up more time, obviously. So just consider that, you know, if you want to get into it. But I'm sure you could whip out some cool stuff over time with practice, you know.
Yeah, I think with practice, it's just like maybe I'll work on the one for like 12 from now.
Yeah, right. Get that going right now.
A while to get there, but hey, because I was gonna say like I don't know. Here, let me put this up here. Like
I should have. I think I'll have something ready in a couple of more weeks. I've been kind of picking at it and coming back and forth and going back and putting it down and going back, and I'm having trouble with memory on my laptop right now, so it's making my computer. It's making my.
I had to start paying for memory from like the Google Drive. I had to.
Yeah.
Because and then Jeff, when you start doing video, huge.
Oh yeah.
Files.
Yeah. That's what's hurting me right now because of all the stock video footage I'm getting for the Roseville trailer. And it's like, and I won't use, I'll download it by accident maybe once or twice. The next thing you know, you've got 15 gigs of
and now you have no room left for anything else. Right.
So,
and then stuff starts going slow and not working.
Yeah. And then that gets harder. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So these labels I did myself.
Yeah, nice.
And like I had a concept and I think I executed them both twice because like the first time I did it, it didn't like they were hard to read or the colors didn't work or placement. So I mean, like I get you where it's like, man, I got to work on this and it's still not right. And I'm going to do it again. You know, trying to figure it out. So I get it. So I mean, like these ones took me probably a week to do them. To start, you know, from start to finish until execution. So
what is that? Is the one on the left a tomatillo base?
No tomatillo. It's jalapeno and serrano.
Okay, that looks good. I like that mango habanero. It's got a nice, tasty looking color to it too. That looks good.
Yeah, that one is hot.
Is it really?
Hot. The jalapenos and serranos that I got are not hot, but again, it's cold still.
I heard you mention that earlier about they didn't have a whole lot of heat on them, so that's good though. I don't like too much heat, but I do like a little bit on the back end, you know. And my mom and my uncle, they're wusses and they don't like any, so I got to be careful when I'm cooking that I don't add anything overdo it, you know. And
well, I have the other one I have is that barbecue base, which is really good, but that still has a bite to it too. That one's ghost pepper, but it's like it's 10 ghost peppers for 24 bottles, so it's not like it's a ton, but it still has a good heat to it. This mango habanero, one batch, they had 5 habaneros and it was like 2.5 bottles. And I was like, it's so hot. I couldn't even eat it. I'm going to have to make one. Do you want send me some? So when this surgery is over, I can smash. Yeah. I'll have to make the hot batch and send that to Pops. Cause I can't eat it. It's so hot. So, but I wanted like a mild one, a medium one, and then a hot one. And then I ended up with 2 hot ones and then a mild one. So I was like, So I tweaked the mango.
What's Pops got going on? Is he? I saw him do video the other day. It looked like he was in a hospital bed. Is he getting some surgery? You said.
Yeah, Pops had a hiatal hernia, and so there's going to be some surgery. He's on a liquid diet right now. He's probably starving. God,
I bet.
Can't imagine being on a liquid diet is so terrible. You just lose weight. You know what I mean? Like I have no weight to lose.
No
you want the
fun.
salsa verde? I'll put a habanero in the salsa verde one for you. How about
Hmm.
that? So you can have a little
Okay.
heat to that too. But right now, so those are done. I got to make some Path of the Pale sauce this week. And then I got a bunch of 3D printing to do. I usually make a collectible 3D printed, whatchamacallit, like a protector that goes around the bottles for when I ship them.
Mhm.
When I came up with a new design, I just got to print a bunch of them. I got to make sure it
Cool.
works.
There was a guy that had across the way from me at the HorrorCon. They were doing sauces, and there was like it's kind of a very different from anything else that was there because everybody else has like memorabilia and T-shirts and stuff like that. So very few people had like books or anything like different from that, posters and all that. This guy had a whole rack of hot stuff sauces. Man, he had his little samples, he had little cups, and he could give him try it out, and he did. I think he did pretty well, but he had really good marketing and packaging and stuff on his designs, and it was interesting to see somebody going out there, and I felt like it was it's a cool thing to see people take a chance and be willing to do that and have enough faith in their product, that they're willing to pay to get a table and sell it to people,
Well, and that's what I'm gonna try, because it's funny because those hot sauces are all named after the comic.
Mm.
So if they're into hot sauces, they're gonna be like, "What's this thing on the hot sauce?" And be like, "Oh, it's based out of the comic." So it's like it's an entrance to the comic. And then if they like comics and they're looking at the table and they're like, "And you have hot sauce?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I have hot sauce." You know what I mean? So it'll just all hopefully one will lead to the other.
Yeah. It sounds weird that you would say that it would be like that, but it is. That's exactly what it is, and it's simple enough that and everybody likes sauce and stuff, and everybody likes to, and people like to read and do comic books and stuff, and so it's cool that it would be that one thing like that seems so opposite of the other would work together like that, so to bring people into your world. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. It's like when I go to comic book stores, like where I'm going to Carpe Diem this weekend, it's mostly about the books. But if I bring some of this stuff, and then sometimes I'll go to like a marketplace, like in my neighborhood, they have like a farmer's market. And so I go to there too. But that one's mostly about the sauce, and then I bake cookies and bread.
Right.
And I'll have comics there, but nobody buys the comics. But at least they're looking at them.
Yeah.
Who knows? If I find one person in the neighborhood that's interested, you never know. You know what I mean?
You never know. And that's the only way people are going to learn about them is if you make them visible and you tell people about them, and you don't have to throw it down people's face. And like you said, it's tasteful to know when to try to sell somebody on something or suggest it. And then just let people kind of go their own way. If then people faint any kind of interest, cool. Hey, I make that comic book right there. And that could open the door for a conversation, or it could just be like, oh, nice. Okay. And then they walk away, and that's fine. You got to tell people and make them visible, at the very least,
Yeah. I had a guy who was like, I like Westerns. So I started pitching him the story. He was like, ew, I like Westerns, but I like the Bible better. And he put my book back, and I was just like, oh, never had anybody tell me that before.
Yeah. It is what it is. So whatever.
I was like, we are technically still in the Bible Belt, so whatever.
Yeah, for sure. So, and then getting into that kind of stuff, like we talk about, in the horror stuff, and being a little on the darker side, and having to deal with that kind of stuff, and death and violence and things like that. You're going to get your share of people that might get their feathers ruffled, or that might not be supportive. Especially like with Roseville, I've noticed, not too bad, but like Roseville delves into a lot of satanic symbolism and anti-Christian stuff, and it's not like by design or by purpose. I could care less. I'm not a very religious person. I did grow up Christian, and over time I've kind of become more spiritual than anything else. And but I never. My intention's not to knock down anybody's faith or religion. It's all just in the story. And so people always should remember that this is all fictional. And but it does, some of that stuff can be very polarizing and affect people in a way that you might not think. And so you but I have to keep telling my story. So if somebody doesn't want to be a part of it, then that's fine. We'll get you on the next go round with the next story. We're not using upside down pentagrams and sixes and stuff like that. So at any rate, I love it. I can't get enough of it. I love it. It's some people, I like to ruffle feathers and from time to time and do stuff that maybe not everybody is doing, and kind of be a little shocking or here and there. And as long as it works together for the greater good, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm with you too. Like my goal someday is to be as devastating as the end of The Mist, the Frank Darabont, like
That's a good movie.
one where Steven, like everybody was just so upset at the end. Like that's my goal. I want to devastate my
Nice.
readers.
Yeah, that one ended kind of frustrating. Like, what the hell happened? What is going on
Yeah,
here? And we never
like
get any closure
none
on
of
it.
that was necessary, and
Yeah.
that's what made it so devastating. And
Yeah.
he was the only one left. He was like, no, it was like 2 minutes later, and everybody
He shoots himself, right? The guy right before they get saved, he kills himself. Man, that's terrible. That's a great movie.
Well,
I
he
loved it.
shoots everybody in the car, but there wasn't enough bullets for him.
Okay, you're right. You're right. That's
Yeah,
right.
so he kills his family because he doesn't want them to suffer and be eaten by these weird bugs
Yeah,
that came through
only to
whatever
be saved.
dimension.
And
And
only
he
to be
gets
saved
out
when
of the
he's
car accepting his fate that he will be eaten. And who should show up but the US Army, and everything is clear. So everybody could have survived if they had waited like 2 minutes.
That's good. It's some good storytelling there. I like that, you know.
It's like, oh, what a twist at the end.
Yeah, nice.
Good Lord.
Stephen King's great.
Hugo wants some tomatillo. You know, I went looking for tomatillos. They're not in season right now. They come out in the fall. So either I got to shop somewhere else. But I was looking for tomatillo. I like a good tomatillo sauce.
Yeah, they're good. We just started planting a bunch of stuff. We got to we just pulled out all of the old stuff from our yards and started planting all these new garden boxes and stuff and landscaping. And so we've been out in the yard very active. And we got several tomato plants, and they're taking off pretty good now. And is a tomatillo a tomato that never really fully developed?
No, it's a different thing itself. And it's
altogether.
kind of spicy. I grew tomatillos one year when I was in Michigan. They're prolific. They like I was pregnant that year and I was on bed rest. So when the tomatillos were ready to be harvested, my sister and my mom went out and grabbed them all, and there was just like bushels of tomatillos, and I wasn't paying attention to them. They were just growing, doing their thing. But it was like, holy moly. So like how you can get like zucchini, you know what I mean? Where like you just can't give it away. There was so many tomatillos. I think they made tomatillo sauce for days, and we canned it all.
Yeah, it's good. Tomatillo sauce is good. But yeah, it's fun to watch that stuff grow and just give life to it and to nurture it. And the only thing that bothers me and still is the pests are just so hard to keep away from your stuff, man. And trying to keep them all without putting too much like poison or insecticide or stuff on your, because if it's all growing naturally and organically, I'd like to think that I don't want to put too much other additives or anything into it, as little as possible. But sometimes you have to, we got these little leaf worms right now that are on they were on this kale that we had, and they were just loved it, and man, they could not get enough of it. And you peel back the leaf, and they're there, and you can't even really see them sometimes. They're very hard to see, and but we had to get rid of the kale, and so hopefully they'll get rid of them. But we'll see. I'm in the process of monitoring right now and keeping an eye on all that. And so
you have to. Well, then it's like the grow season here in Texas is different than what I'm used to in Michigan. It's like they didn't plant until end of May into the ground, and it's like here, if you're not planted already, you're not going to make it. Like the sun's going to burn it, So you got to harvest before August, or you're not going to get any. It's going to die.
I want to do a koi pond, but I've also been told that in Texas it's very difficult because of the weather and the conditions and the heat and stuff. And I don't know, I'd love to do that one. I've always wanted to make a little pond and have like a Zen garden type of thing. That'd be great.
Yeah. No, the bobcats will come and eat them.
Yeah, right. They come get them.
Bobcats.
I think we have some out here. Actually, my elementary school was named the Bobcats, and we've still got them out here in the Cy-Fair region area.
Yeah, we definitely have them too out here. You see them all the time.
Cougars.
You know what? Holy moly, that's the show. We're at 1 hour and 53 minutes, Jeff.
Yeah, we wrapped it up. It went by pretty quick.
It always does. You know what I mean? When we're having a good conversation.
Oh, yeah.
So everybody, I have Jeofrey, his Instagram linked. He said his website is under construction. So, but there will be a Kingdom Comics website, so make sure you're tuned in to his Instagram. So that way you can get updates. And again, you can do that lovely thing where you can follow a creator on Kickstarter. That's great because anytime Jeff launches a project, it will send you an email, that what he's up to, because that's probably the best way. Because again, he does so much. If you're going to be tuned in, you gotta follow.
I use Facebook a whole lot, but I just don't want to confuse anybody, because I have a Facebook private group that I use for my sales and my pressing and my that side of the business. But I also mention and talk about my Kickstarter stuff all the time on there. But then I also have a regular Facebook that's got my name, just my regular name that I use for like personal stuff, but also use for comic book promotion and sales. So there's a couple of different Facebooks. But yeah, you can find me. I'm pretty easy to find nowadays, even on Google, I think. I've got enough done where if you just type my name in, which again, my name's weird, kind of hard to spell. So, or just different. So just be mindful of that, but look for, Kingdom Comics too. That's spelled a little different. I was being cute with the play on words and stuff. Yep. So, but nevertheless though, you can find me on all that stuff anywhere, like YouTube, Facebook. I don't use Twitter. But Facebook and Instagram for sure. And then the Kingdom Comics website will have all of that stuff streamlined and and packaged into one neat little package real soon. So just keep it written down, and then maybe in a month or so, go check the website and see what's going on.
Excuse me. So if people right now wanted to purchase, let's say, Cosa Nostra because they missed out on the Kickstarter, can they just contact you directly on Facebook and work that out with you?
For now, yeah. And then eventually, once it's getting ready to print, we're going to still we're still a little bit away from getting print, but we're getting there. And the website will have everything. It'll be nice and easy to find. It'll have a catalog, and you can go in there and get any available covers and add-ons. And I offer international shipping now, so I can ship it anywhere across the world. And hopefully that's all priced right. I think it is. But like I said, there's a lot going on all the time to try to figure out everything and the intricacies of all this stuff. So I'm working towards it, and we're getting there. It's just a process, but we're gonna get there. And I think by the end of the year, things will be really kicking ass and like rocking and rolling.
Awesome.
So I'm hoping so.
Well, I look forward to seeing your growth and all the cool things that you have lined up. I'm excited to watch it all happen. That's one of the coolest parts. Yeah, thank you. That's one of the coolest parts of having this show is touching so many cool creators and then watching the things happen and come out and reading your stories. And I got my Razor Wire McGuire the other day, and I was like, "Ooh, look at this!"
Yeah, you got one of the Virgin. Yeah, you got one of the Virgin covers, I think. It's really cool. What's that guy's name? Val Vaught. Val Vaught, I think is how you say his name. He's he did that cover for those guys, and I've only met him a couple times. Man, he's talented. He's really good.
Yeah, you have a lot of really talented people that you work with. So very cool. All right, guys. And then, of course, join us next week. We'll have more indie creators on for one-on-one conversations where we go in depth about what's kicking in indie. We pick brains. We follow up on projects. We're going to see what's going on next week. Again, follow Jeofrey, like and subscribe on the Madness channel, my channel on YouTube, so we can have some more followers and get our stuff out there. Be nice to each other and kiss your babies. We'll see you all next week.
Thanks for having me, Laurie.
Absolutely, Jeff. All right. Bye, guys.
Later, everybody. Thank you for watching, everybody.
Oh, I had the button there and I moved it. All right, here we go. Okay, bye.
An ancient darkness is breaking through into our reality. The overlords are coming. Their demons united, they'll stop at nothing to tear our world to shreds. And the only thing that can stop them is the power of metal. You have been chosen by the gods of metal to lead this crusade of finger-shredding fury. You must write the sick riffs, craft the awesome lyrics, find unholy rhythms, and set the heads banging. Show the overlords that their darkness is nothing compared to yours. Gods of Metal is a co-op deck-building game for 1 to 4 players. You and your bandmates must work to create the most powerful band in human history. Find mystical instruments of legend, outlandish costumes to improve your powers, and recruit mascots to help you battle the overlords. Find the power of pure decibels and use them to destroy your enemies by crafting songs that will literally blow their minds. Form a band. Save the world. Gods of Metal. Now on Kickstarter.
Mr. Chris, what up? Also, Chrisgau from rock and roll band Five Finger Death Punch. Heard that you're about to launch your newest board game, Gods of Metal, where you take on the persona of different metal musicians to stop the overlords and their demons from taking over reality. I think I know a metal musician that can help you fight those overlords and those demons. That is me, Chrisgau. So, shout out to you, Chris. Shout out to all of the Laughing Rogue crew. And shout out to Gods of Metal. I will be in there taking over reality from the demons and the overlords. Chrisgau. Just like it says there on my hat, in case I forget. I do play bass.
The future. The final frontier. It has never been so uncertain as now. AI, VR, haptic wear, nanotechnology, mass destruction with a remote click. Now we are finally seeing the true potential and dangers of an ever-connected and overly policed hyper-technological world. Have we finally become the architect of our own demise? Is there still hope? Welcome to the future. Welcome to Punk Droid.
Glamorized and embraced by Hollywood, feared in the underworld, Benjamin Bugsy Siegel was one of the most powerful men in America. He was also one of the most hated. The man who gave birth to Las Vegas was gunned down in the luxurious home of his glamorous lover. Almost 80 years later, his murder remains unsolved. Who killed Bugsy?
How do you end this thing? How do you put the where's the brakes on this bus? I forgot.
Jazz
how to drive.
hands. Jazz hands and brakes.